I was a superhero, I would probably be Bean Lady, like the fart queen.
What's the best bean?
That's not fair. That's like saying what's your favorite child. This is my show, gosh darn. What's up, friends? My name is Miranda. This is Miranda in the Wild, and today I'm wearing overalls. We are cooking beans. Beans are a really nutritious, high-calorie food that provide an awesome base for a lot of different recipes, but I do feel like they get a bad rap. If you're not used to eating a whole bunch of beans, your tent mate might not like you. There's a whole song about beans that's not very nice. If you look at the most popular camping recipes, a lot of them are going to be things like hot dogs, just a lot of bread. So if you don't want the backcountry backup, eat more beans. So we're making 3 recipes with 3 different types of beans today. A Besan or chickpea flour scramble for breakfast, sweet potato and black bean burritos for lunch, and then for dinner we're going to do a curried spiced lentil. All of the recipes that I'm doing today are plant-based, so there's no meat or dairy in them, but you can totally add in whatever you want. I will be making these on my 1-burner car camping stove. With that, let's cook some beans. First up is breakfast. Stay open. So for breakfast, we are going to make a Besan scramble or a chickpea scramble. The awesome thing about chickpea flour is that it's really, really lightweight and it only requires a little bit of water to cook. So if you are used to having powdered eggs and you know how mediocre that stuff is, I highly recommend trying garbanzo bean flour. Basically, we're cooking this exactly like you would scrambled eggs. It's really simple and it's really fast. So vegetable-wise, I'm gonna do onion and bell pepper and then also top it with some avocado because I love avocado. Time to cut. So I know that some people will pre-cut their ingredients before they get to camp, but I think that if you have the time to freshly cut your vegetables when you're actually at camp, I do think it's worth it. They're gonna last longer. Just do what you want. So here I have a cup of the chickpea flour. I'm gonna make 2 servings of everything today, and I'm gonna go ahead and add in my spices. This is made I pre-mixed. That's primarily nutritional yeast and paprika, cumin, and a couple other spices in here. Because chickpea flour cooks really fast, I'm going to mix this all up and get it to the right liquid consistency before I start cooking my vegetables, so we can just keep the ball rolling. Now I'm going to add equal parts of water as the chickpea flour to this, looking to get a pancake batter consistency. If you need more water, you can obviously add more water. It is important to make sure that the whole thing is mixed. Oh, pro tip, do not eat raw chickpea flour. It's disgusting. If you do eat dairy, you can obviously add cheese or bacon. That looks excellent. Time to pull out the coolest stove ever. So the pot that I'm using is a non-stick pot, and most camping pots are, but I am actually gonna add just a tiny bit of oil. Red peppers to the rescue. I'm cooking the onions until they're translucent and aromatic. It's generally 2 to 3 minutes. So now we are gonna add in our garbanzo bean flour mixture. I did add some ground flaxseed into my spice mixture. Ground flax does kind of help with texture. It also adds more nutrition. And get all the little bits out. You're basically going for the consistency of eggs. So this is something that I make all the time. I love this for camping. It is super easy to use for backpacking. You can actually use dehydrated vegetables instead of fresh vegetables when you're backpacking, and it just makes this whole thing really lightweight, really fast. Chickpea flour will actually solidify and turn into a pancake, basically, so you can actually make omelets out of this stuff. If you do have a cast iron pot that you're cooking with or a cast iron skillet, I will say that this can tend to stick, so make sure it's really, really well seasoned. So this is close to the consistency that we want. You can see that there's not a ton of moisture left. It's been 15 minutes and now I have breakfast for 2. Watch my bowl. Oh, look at that. I put 1 serving in my bowl and I'm gonna add some avocado. Not as good as I wanted it to be. Avocado's just forever the most disappointing food. Why do I love you so much? This avocado was not 100% ready to be served. Ta-da! These are beans, people. It's a very deep, sort of earthy flavor. Wow, I sound like such a vegan. I love vegetables. All true. Don't make fun. Breakfast. Let's make lunch. One thing that I really love to do with lunch when I'm camping is have something that's handheld, especially because I'll tend to go on hikes. For lunch, we are going to make a sweet potato and black bean burrito. Let's cook. Here are all of my ingredients. I have canned black beans here, my avocado from breakfast, spinach, pepitas, which are raw pumpkin seeds, adds a nice little crunch, And then I have a packet of taco seasoning. So then I have sweet potatoes here. I chopped these up at home and then I submerged them in water and refrigerated them. And that's a great way to extend the shelf life of your sweet potatoes. Let's start with draining the beans. We're gonna use half this can of beans to make 2 servings of these burritos. So if you're making for 4 people, you'll use a whole can. We are also going to drain our sweet potatoes. With this, it's okay if you don't have a strainer. We're gonna do it basically the same way we did with the beans because we want a little bit of that moisture just to help the sweet potatoes cook faster. And make sure that you save your black bean water and your sweet potato water because we're actually gonna use this for dinner to make sort of like a pudding and like a cocktail sauce. I'm kidding.
I was about to say, you've got to be joking.
Nailed that joke. And away we go. Cooking sweet potatoes can vary, obviously, depending on the size of the sweet potato and your stove. I am going to cover these to help them cook a little bit faster. I'm basically just waiting until they start to darken in color, and then from there I'll add in my black beans. Look at that! So you can see the water coming out of the potatoes. That's what's steaming them. Since these are in such small chunks, it's actually going to cook very fast. Great. Okay, so I'm gonna add my taco seasoning and then I'll add my black beans. Yeah, that smells so good. Taco seasoning, so good. I'm gonna add a little bit more water because I feel like it. In go our beans, the real star of the show. You can also dehydrate sweet potatoes and black beans together. So if you are backpacking and want a meal like this, that's probably the best way to do it. This is looking pretty good. Now we are going to add in our spinach. Yes, spinach. We're gonna add another dash of water in to help the spinach wilt. My dad taught me that trick. Last thing, I'm actually gonna add in my pepitas. Again, you don't have to add these, but I love the extra crunch. And now we're gonna put all of this into our burrito with our avocado. This is the unofficial way to warm your tortilla. So this is my avocado from breakfast. This disappointing underripe avocado. Playing a risky game here. Pot to tortilla. Oh, I have a lime. Lime! Bam! There's some kind of little bumbly thing over here. Oh, and he's on my avocado. Hi, friend. You want to get in there? Yeah, I'm done. You can have that. Beans! Good enough for bees! Put that on the marketing. Here's the part where you watch me struggle to roll a burrito. Hey, Bumblebee, I know it looks like flowers on the table, but incidentally, they're fake. You might just want a GTFO, if you know what I mean. All right, this one I got a little lazy. Ta-da! Still pretty dang good. That is 2 sweet potato black bean burritos. Beans!
Don't stab the bee. Don't stab yourself.
Sorry, bee. Woohoo! Oh yeah, look at that. That's lunch. Let's make dinner. For dinner, I am going to make a spiced curried lentil. I know this as dal. I imagine there's probably lots of different names for it, but either way, it's lentils, which are beans. This is actually the most involved recipe that I am making because generally dinner is the time when you have time. So I am using my leftover red bell pepper from this morning, my leftover onion, and then I'm also gonna chop up this tomato and some garlic. I have here brown lentils, but you can actually use whatever type of lentil you want. This is another one where you can just kind of use whatever vegetables you feel like and just toss them in after the lentils and the tomatoes and onions have all cooked together. All right. Go to your home, onions. Vegetables have been chopped. It's funny because I'm very farty today. I'm waiting to chop up my garlic and my ginger because I'll have something to do while my lentils are cooking. So I'm gonna add a little bit of a neutral cooking oil to my pot. I'm actually keeping my heat a little bit lower to start than I did on breakfast or lunch because I need things to kind of simmer. So we're gonna let our oil heat up just a little bit and then we'll add in our onions. Oh yeah, listen to that sizzle. So for this, I am adding in some cumin, some ginger, and some paprika. Just gonna season up our onion. So I'm adding about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of each of the spices. It's totally up to personal preference. You can add however much or however little as you want. A couple other good spices that would work for this would be garam masala or a curry powder, and then definitely some turmeric. All right. Good, ginger. Okay, so I've added my spices in here, and then I'm going to cook my onions until they're translucent, and then after that we'll add in our lentils. I actually think we're about ready to do that. All right, great. So now that that's coated in the spices, we're gonna add our water. So for lentils, you're essentially adding about 3 times as much So I'm gonna add about 3 times as much water as the lentils into my pot, and if I need more water, I can always add some more. Wow, hold on. So the combination of the ginger, the onions, and the paprika give me like a nasal rash. This is what they don't show you on the professional cooking shows. Me crying in the background. Sweet, now we're boiling. And we're gonna have to turn it down a little bit so we get a simmer. And then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and add my tomato in. Lentils vary in how long it takes them to cook, but you really just want them to cook to the point that they start to break apart, because that's really what we're looking for, is that kind of like thick soup base. As they start to absorb this water, if you need to add a little bit more water, you can always do that. While this is cooking, I'm going to chop up my garlic and my fresh ginger. Although after my response to the ground ginger, I'm not sure how much I want to add in. Then I'll go ahead and add in my red peppers towards the end. We want those to still provide some like good crunch. All right, so our lentils are almost done cooking here. You can see that a lot of the water has been absorbed. From here, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my garlic, my ginger, and my red pepper. And I am gonna cook this just until the red pepper is soft. You can also add instant rice to this meal to bulk it up even more. All right, this is looking pretty good. I really like to have green in this meal, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some spinach. For this, I'm actually gonna turn off the heat, since the heat in the lentils will be enough for the spinach to wilt. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, there we go. And there you have your lentils. Last thing I'm gonna do is squeeze a little bit of lime in here. Citrus just really brings out all the flavors. And there you have it. Let's do a little taste test. Isn't that just a beautiful biteful? And that's beans for every meal. For breakfast, we did the chickpea Besan scramble. For lunch, we did the sweet potato black bean burritos. And then for dinner, we made this delicious curried lentil. So I hope that if you don't already use beans as a base for your camping food, maybe this video will help you introduce them into your meal making. I think that beans are an awesome way to get your calories and also to get some really good protein. Plus they're just super versatile and really easy to find. If you liked this video, hit the like button and go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any of your own recipes using beans that I should know about, leave those in the comments below. Also, if you have any suggestions for videos or other plant-based recipes that you'd like to see, let me know, and I will see you all in the wild. Eat your beans. I am the champion of beans. Bean hero. Is it just me or does beans not sound like a word anymore?